Happy 4th of July, and welcome to ROFC 18B, as I promised back in Turk P5. I'm pretty sure some of you may be anxious for the results, so let's jump right in. But first, we need an update on Team Flair counts on the Discord. Not much interesting happened, unfortunately. However, it seems 5 more people joined the ROFC Team Flairs as Anonymous gained 3 supporters and Ed King gained 2 supporters. Now we can jump to results. The 18th prompt was, should I do anything special for the ROFC finale? If so, what should I do? In this penultimate voting of ROFC, 46 voters cast 406 votes, spread such that every response received between 45 and 46 votes, with an average of 45.1 votes per response. For this results reveal, I'll do what Carrie KH neglected to do in TWOW 23B, and reveal the results of each individual response before revealing the author of each response. We'll start with this response. Yup, summarize the competition so far briefly. That seems like the sensible thing to do at this stage in the competition. We should reflect on our incredible journey through ROFC. I'm not sure if the summary should be necessarily brief, though. Let's see what the voters thought of this. .022. That's merely average, or so we think. Notice the scale on the average meter. That could indicate some much better responses than this. Just saying. Next response. How about we create a speech but in 50 characters? This seems a bit unoriginal. It seems almost stereotypical to end a camp with a speech competition between the final few, and this response even acknowledges that there won't be any special twist, just the 50 character limit that has existed since the beginning of ROFC. Let's see what the voters have to say about this. Whoa, it seems the voters liked this response much more than the last one. It's also ever so slightly less controversial than the previous response. Let's see if this response, let's express ourselves and make booksonas, can outperform the last response. Booksonas originate from TWOW, and this whole competition could be considered knockoff TWOW, so this addition makes sense. I never made booksonas, or any avatars for that matter, for these contestants, so this would add to the competition. Let's see what voters think about this. Whoa, this response was better than the other two, even if it was more controversial. Let's see if we can continue this sustained climb. Now it's time to see if the sustained climb really will continue with this response. It's up to you, it's your show after all. This is the second shortest response of the bunch. It's only 42 characters. The shortest response was only 41 characters long. Technically, this is actually 43 characters because of an unnecessary space at the end of the response, but the point still stands. This is realm of 50 characters, but whoever wrote this response only used 84% of that to make what seems like a non-answer. I wonder how the voters felt about leaving such an important decision to me rather than the contestants. Whoa, the sustained climb really has continued with a response that pushes the limits of the scale I'm using to represent average ratings. Still, this response, naturally, was much more controversial than the other responses we've seen so far. Let's see if we can raise the scores beyond that stratosphere with this response. Yes, allow 51 characters for the last prompt. That is an extremely minor change that seems as though it would not affect any responses, but keep in mind that this is realm of 50 characters. I want the winner of the realms who have won it pursuant of the realm tradition of using only 50 characters. I don't think the locals of the realm would take a 51 character response very well. Let's see what the voters think about this. As I expected, this response was very controversial. I'm not showing voter rating distributions here, but there were 8 zeros, 9 tens, and a few middle ratings on this response. Voters were clearly divided as to whether or not to respect tradition or to enjoy a fairly humorous response. After Batfall from the stratosphere, let's see if we can recover with this response. Open the curtains, let's do face reveals. First of all, I'd like to announce that I most likely will never do a face reveal. I don't want to face any risk of having my identity discovered or stolen. Sorry to anyone who wanted to see me in all my glory. On that note, I'm skeptical of other ROFCers revealing their faces for similar reasons. Anyway, let's see what the voters have to say. It seems my skepticism may have been shared among many of the voters. That is the worst rating we've seen yet. Additionally, this response wasn't very controversial, further backing the hypothesis that the voters shared my skepticism. Let's recover from that with this response. Allow confessionals for alive and eliminated players. That is a pretty good idea. Similarly to the Booksona response, this idea was inspired by TWOW. To be honest, we were pretty overdue for confessionals in ROFC. And then again, I've been showcasing some cool things you've done on the ROFC Discord server. Nah, I think confessionals have been long overdue. Let's see what the voters have to say. It seems the voters were in the same boat that I was. Even if this response doesn't win, I think I'll allow confessionals for the finale. We have just 2 responses left, both of which are affirmative responses to the prompt's question. In fact, nearly every response was affirmative. It seems difficult to be creative with a negative response to the prompt's question. Anyway, our next response is, yes, let the viewers vote on the final prompt. Well, if the viewers were to vote on the final prompt, it would ruin the A-B episode cycle. Additionally, the viewers already get to vote on responses, and in addition to that, when prompt voting was done in TWOW, only active TWOWers were able to vote on prompts. Let's see how the voters feel about having another layer of interactivity in the finale. It seems the voters like some more interactivity. Well, some of them do. After all, spoiler alert, this ended up being the most controversial response. Anyway, we have one more response to look at. Here's our final response. Yes, allow those eliminated to vote on the winner. I thought voting on responses was already a way of voting on the winner. Plus, ROFC fans can root for the ROFCer they like best by joining the ROFC Discord, link in the description, and joining their ROFCer's Team Flair. I don't want personal bias in the finale voting, but the voters may think differently. It seems our final response did pretty well. It was the only response to get 46 votes rather than 45. The extra vote was actually the last vote cast, and it consisted of a rating of 10 for this response and no rating for any other response. We now have a complete ranking of all 9 responses, but who wrote these responses? Let's find out. This isn't good for ObjectShowAuthor. Oh dear, we've already revealed 2 of Anonymous's responses, which means the next Anonymous response revealed will be his best response, i.e. the one that counts for his score. Now ObjectShowAuthor has 2 of his responses revealed. In a twist of fate, Ed King has 1 of his responses revealed. But oh no, with that reveal, the complete rankings going into ROFC 19 are now locked into place. Let's see the rest of the rankings. ObjectShowAuthor, you started off with a 4.943 in ROFC 1, which put you in 13th place, near the middle. You then scored a victory in ROFC 2 with an impressive 7.026. Your victory earned you 2,500 bonus points for ROFC 3, which certainly helped out given your lackluster 3.375 in that prompt. That got you 21st place, only above Snoop Frog's 3.333. You recovered in ROFC 4 with an 11th out of 21, but you then placed 18th out of 20 in ROFC 5, only above Hongeist 123 and Arx the Lion. However, you bounced back with a 4th place finish in ROFC 6. You then placed in the middle again with a 9th out of 17 in ROFC 7. You followed that with another 9th place in ROFC 8. You then entered your heyday, 5th in ROFC 9, 3rd in ROFC 10, 2nd in ROFC 11 with a score of 6.952, and 1st in ROFC 12. Unfortunately, the competition got intense beyond that point, and ROFC 12 would be your last victory. You placed 6 out of 9 in ROFC 13 before placing 4th in ROFC 14 and 15. You then placed 5th in ROFC 16, only above Anonymous, before narrowly avoiding elimination with a 2nd place in ROFC 17, and then being eliminated with a 3rd place in ROFC 18. Goodbye, ObjectShowAuthor. You will be missed by a Doctor Who, Andrew 25565 Gamer, Lucas Johnston, Barry B. Benson, Clay Created, James Raffa 123, Tree Stomped, yourself, Oliver the 30 Alt, Ava CZ, Pugs and Bacon, The Almighty Loser, The Tailcat, The Atomic Weasel 68, and Teruna. I didn't show voter rating distributions when I revealed the responses individually, so I might as well show the results using the traditional method now. Pause the video if you need to. By the way, note that Ed King's lowest rated response was not only by far the highest rated 3rd response, but also the most controversial response. You can see here that Anonymous had by far the worst 2nd response. You may have noticed that Ed King got more than 10 ratings of 10 out of 10 on all 3 of his responses. In addition, no other response got 10 ratings of 10 out of 10. That just goes to show how dominant Ed King has become. To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. It's incredible seeing how far we've come. For the remaining 2 of you, it's time for ROFC 19. You 2 are now in the top 7% of ROFC. It's time for the ROFC finale. Underdog Anonymous takes on the dominant Ed King. The final prompt is to have a debate with your opponent over who should control the realm of 50 characters. Each contestant will submit 5 responses, and every response will count, so try your best, Anonymous and Ed King. Voters, you will see Anonymous and Ed King argue back and forth on your voting form. For more details, please see the form in the description. ROFCers alive and eliminated, send confessionals now. It's in the same form that you used to send responses. The form link is in the description. The form will close on July 15th, 2018, and I'll see you in ROFC 19A.